March Solicits, obviously some interesting talking points as we go through them, but we'll take them in the order they're presented here. You look at the Newsarama Solicits article. So, Batman issue 121, not just 21. Not much to say, really. Just continuing Williamson's arc.
I would like to say I want points for saying Ghostmaker would be the first one from Tynan's run to return. And there he is.
I guess I see that to be the case. I mean, to be fair, I think Williamson's first issue last week kind of actually it changed the expectations for everyone about how much of that run might come back, because he referenced like everything in it.
He did, yeah.
So it's like, okay.
There's a difference between referencing where the status quo is and actually using characters in your own stories.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised, is the point. Like,
no, I'm not either.
It's like, it's fine. But the first new thing is Batman Killing Time. This is issue 1 of 6. This is a mini-series by Tom King. So we're getting a new Tom King mini-series.
Only 6 issues.
Only 6 issues. With David Marquez on art, so he's got another superstar artist to help him along.
It's all he works with at this point.
I know. Tom King just gets all the best artists. It's just he has this privilege. So it's basically being billed as like a sort of year 2 style story, featuring Riddler, Catwoman, Penguin, and Killer Croc. They're all on the cover anyway. Yeah. So I'll read the solicit for it. I might as well. It's a new thing. 3 villains, 1 dark night, and a deadly heist gone wrong. Catwoman, the Riddler, and the Penguin join forces to pull off the greatest robbery in the history of Gotham City, and their prize, a mysterious and priceless artifact in the secret possession of Bruce Wayne. But as the events unfold, what fun is a heist without a bloody double cross or two? Well, I mean, given the characters involved, I'm not surprised there'll be some double crossing.
They're definitely all double crossing each other.
Yes. And Catwoman will likely win because she's the closest to being a hero. I mean, I know it's early days, so she'll be more of a villain in this story, but because like Tom King is going to want to foreshadow the fact that she's one day going to be an anti-hero.
And even by then, she was never evil in the same way as some others, but
never evil. Bad, but never evil. So this is interesting. I wasn't expecting him to return to a Batman book anytime in the near future.
He did make a point of saying on Twitter that his Batman run was like, I know this is my look at Batman from the psychological perspective that Tom King tends to break down characters with, especially in his minis. This is more, it's a blockbuster fun kind of, it's a heist, right? It's what it is. It's not going to be this big deep look at Batman. He's said that already. Which
honestly is actually kind of intriguing, because we've had so much of him deconstructing Batman that him just doing like a fun Batman action story might be a good time.
It's more appealing to me as well, because I'm at this point I'm a bit hit or miss with a lot of his deeper stuff. I mean, the Tom King 12-issue format. I'm hit or miss on it at this point. Doing this 6-issue blockbuster heist style story is a bit more appealing, I think, because I'm expecting something different. I'm not expecting to have that same voice as he does in those books. Yeah.
So,
and Marquez on art is always going to be nice to look at.
Oh yeah, that's never going to be a bad thing. And then another new thing, this got announced earlier this week, and it's super exciting. So this is Batman Superman World's Finest issue 1, and it's not listed as a mini, as far as I can see. It looks like an ongoing. And why this is notable is the creative team. Now, don't get me wrong. No. I do not mean any insult to the artist here. Dan Mora is a fantastic get. I love Dan Mora's art, but he's not the exciting name on this just because of the circumstances.
He is for me.
No, he is exciting, but he's not exciting in the same way that the writer is, because of the circumstances around the writer. The writer of this book is Mark Waid, who we are welcoming back to DC Comics with open arms. Now, he did do one of the shorts in one of the anthology books, so this is not the first time he's touched something since Didio left, but this is obviously a bigger deal. This is an ongoing book. This is him doing Batman and Superman, and I am delighted to have Mark Waid back doing a DC comic. I cannot wait for this.
I am cautiously optimistic, because while I love a lot of older Waid stuff, I don't remember the last Waid book that I really enjoyed.
As Daredevil, which is not that old, was fantastic.
I fell off it. I was, by the end, I was kind of reading it for Somni's art and not really caring about the story that much.
Well, that's fair, but
and it was the same with his Black Widow that came after with Somni, where I was like, yeah, art's great, but didn't care for the story. His Captain America was downright forgettable.
All right. But fair enough. But his Daredevil I thought was fantastic. I thought the writing was excellent. And
You're not alone in that, to be fair. A lot of people do agree with that.
So you can sit and whinge as much as you want, but not everyone else has fallen off the Wade bandwagon quite the same way. So I am intrigued by this, and I am looking forward to checking it out. I'll read the description since it's a new book again. The Dark Knight, the Man of Steel, they are the two finest superheroes that the world has ever known, and they're together again in an epic new series from legendary talents of Mark Waid and Dan Mora. In the not-too-distant past, so it's set in the past, Superman's powers are supercharged from a devastating chemical attack by the villain Metallo, and the only ally with the ultra-powerful Man of Steel can return to is his turbulent hour is Gotham's own dark vengeance. That's a weird sense. The Batman. A nearly fatal burst of power drives Bruce Wayne to his own extreme measures to help his friend, enlisting none other than the Doom Patrol for aid. It's the world's greatest superheroes from the world's greatest comic book talent in one epic comic book, blah, blah, blah. The rest of it's just fluff. Yeah. But, so,
I will say it's set slightly in the past so that we can have it be Clark, right? Essentially, before pre-War World is basically what this is saying.
I think it's that. I think it's also going to be Clark with a secret identity, so it's more classic style.
Probably
Superman, yeah.
Also, I just want to say the Zarsky variant is one of the best variants I've ever seen. It's very good. It's the slap.
It's the slap, yeah. I was just scrolling through them there to see the other covers. Yeah. So
also, well, I said Mora's the biggest draw for me here, which is true. God damn it, Mora, just do Once and Future. I want more of that book.
No, keep doing DC work, Mora. Thank you.
To be fair to him, Once Future, it's taking its regular schedule, 3-month breaks between arcs, but it's not missing any more than that. It's still more every issue. It's still hitting out consistently. So I guess if he keeps filling in these arcs, between things, then by all means. But it tells me that this book isn't going to be. It's not Mora as the ongoing artist. He'll be there for the first arc at most.
Yeah, I do want to point out there's an Art Germ variant, which is Supergirl and Stephanie Brown Batgirl in her Batgirl outfit from pre-New 52. So it's like a throwback to that, 2009 era Supergirl Batgirl team up.
Okay, it's very nice. I did have to scroll through quite a lot of covers to get
there's a lot of covers for this one, yeah. But it's very nice, and it gave me some good nostalgia feels. So, yes, so good stuff. So that's exciting. And then obviously we have the return of White Knight stuff with Batman Beyond the White Knight, which is interesting. A Batman Beyond character into the book. It's going to be 8 issues, Black Label. You know the drill at this point.
It's 10 years after the last one.
So you know what to expect from this, more or less, at this point.
I should hope so.
And then Detective Comics 1055, 1056, 1057, 1058. Then that does wrap up the 10-part 12-part series. Sorry, yes, the 12-part story by Tamaki, which
I'm looking forward to starting. We've solicited the whole thing before. This whole 12-part story is solicited before we've started it, which is unusual, but looking forward to starting it, and I'm looking forward to next month's solicits to see what we're actually getting after.
Yeah, me too. But
kind of are we getting a new writer? Is this Tamaki kind of doing a final say on Detective, or is it just the start of something else?
I have to say I like that cover on the final issue, which is it's basically Batman in silhouette, but he's covering lights of the buildings behind him with his cape
and the red sky. Yeah.
That's some nice simple cover. I like it.
It's very animated series-esque. Even though stylistically it's not, but just in terms of the colors and the way it's lit.
Next up, we got Batman Phase Clan issue 1.
Do you know what Phase Clan is?
I have no idea. It looks like garbage, though.
Phase Clan is a gaming team.
I hate this.
Esports.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I understood the Fortnite crossover because it was Fortnite is still probably the biggest game on the planet, right? You're selling a lot of things by doing that. Phase Clan's been going a long time. I'm talking 13, 14 years. old Call of Duty games, basically, is kind of where they kind of really started and became a thing. So I'm not sure what the audience for this is, because I don't think they're quite. I'm not sure there's quite the same thing to them anymore.
I mean, maybe they're just hoping that even a dozen people who care about this phase group will start reading comics because there's a comic with them in it, and they'll stick around for a few more books. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's weird.
Weird that this doesn't say it's a mini or anything. Because there's no way this is an ongoing.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. Next up, Shadow War Alpha issue 1. We knew this was coming. This is the kickoff one shot for the little mini event that Williamson's doing between his few books.
Just something I will say that I kind of forgot to mention last week. Mainly, I forgot to mention because I keep forgetting Batman's not double shipping anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of sad to see that Batman's doing a crossover after like 3 issues. I would have liked a bit more breathing room. And I know they're all Williamson books. I know I'm reading all of them anyway, but I would have liked a little bit more breathing room of its, to be itself before it jumps into crossovers.
Yeah.
In my head, I was getting like 6 or 7 issues before this, but we're not because it's not double shipping.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. I'm just not.
It's just something that I know, especially me, I complain about a lot when it's books that I'm not that interested in, I'm not reading. So I thought it's only fair I do bring it up when it is a book that, just because I'm reading all of them, doesn't make it okay. It's still annoying.
Yeah. So that's that. We got Naomi Season 2, Issue 1. Again, we knew this was coming already. So, there it is.
Yeah. Was the first season co-written by Walker as well?
I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to say it was. That sounds familiar. Yeah. So that's neat. And then we got Trial of the Amazons, Issue 1. It says 1 of 2, which is interesting. I would speculate that this is going to be like a bookend, kind of like how the Alpha and Omega issues are, but they're not calling it that. So I don't know. I don't know if that is the case. Maybe this is just a 2-parter that sort of kicks off a bunch of stories in the individual comics.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit concerned about the event that we're going to feel a bit lost, because it starts by saying after the events of Nubia and the Amazons, which I don't think any of us are reading.
We'll just have to see how it feels.
Yeah.
And whether or not even this extra book is worth picking up for if you're just reading Wonder Woman, if you care about keeping up with all the extra details. Because it's worth mentioning that the creative team here it's got all of the different writers from all the Wonder Woman related books that are working on it.
It does feel like it's pretty cohesive from an editorial standpoint.
But it does make me wonder if it's all going to be like it's split up little stories all tied into the various books, or is it actually they've all consulted on one story that's just going to be continuous in this issue?
No, it's continuous issue to issue. Like if you go to the next book, which is Nubia and the Amazon 6, that is part 2 of the story.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then Wonder Woman 785, as we go on, is part 3. So you kind of have to read all of them.
Well, it's going to have to intrigue me quite a bit to make me want to do all that.
No, I'm concerned in that because we're reading Wonder Woman and Wonder Girl. Wonder Girl's been kind of on the edge as it is. I'm like, man, this is a big commitment to read a lot of books. It almost feels like, do I want to read it, or is it more of a jumping off point than a jumping in point?
Yeah, is it just a drop it for 2 or 3 months while Wonder Woman's tied up in it, and then possibly come back afterwards? It could be the case, which would be a shame because I just came back to Wonder Woman after the first big arc that I wasn't into.
We'll get to it more later, but I am enjoying Wonder Woman right now.
Speaking of, though, Nubia and the Amazons issue 6 also solicited for March, so that's wrapping up that. Then we have Wonder Woman issue 785.
Oh wow! Sorry, I didn't realize Nubia and the Amazons was a mini. That's particularly bizarre in that the final issue of your miniseries is part 2 of your crossover.
Yeah, I mean, if it's all been building to it, I guess it doesn't really matter, because if you've been buying it, then you're going to be invested in the crossover.
But it's so weird that for when you're selling that as a trade later down the line,
I suspect it's going to be a bigger collection rather than just 1-6. So this.
It's going to have to be now, yeah.
Wonder Woman 785, part 3 of the crossover. And then Trial of the Amazons, Wonder Girl issue 1. So notably, this is a one shot. This isn't actually part of the main series of Wonder Girl. This is a separate thing.
2-issue mini again.
Yeah. Did I say one shot? Okay, 2-issue mini. But the same difference being is that it's not actually the same ongoing book. That's not been interrupted necessarily.
Although it's also not solicited anywhere else. So.
Oh well, okay, maybe it's
replaced.
Maybe it's replaced, but
yeah,
that's arguably still a little bit better because at least the ongoing story in the regular book isn't interrupted. It's taking a break. You have to take time off, but it's not interrupted in the sense that when the trade's put together later, you have to worry about issues, 7 and 8 tying into things that don't make any sense unless you're reading the whole thing. So, but yes, but it is Joelle Jones writing and doing the art on this. So,
which makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, more on all this stuff later. We also got Sensational Wonder Woman Special issue 1, although I believe this is just one of these big one-shot specials. Although notably, this only has 3 stories in it versus the usual 8 to 10, so there are more meaty stories than normal. So that's something.
Which might make it more appealing, I guess, in the sense that you, rather than here's a handful of fluffy little 8-page things, here are 3 roughly 30-page stories. I'm assuming there's probably still some pin-up parts kind of thrown in like they usually do in these. Yeah,
probably. They're doing this for International Women's Day, which is cool. I suspect the likelihood of me reading this is very low, partly because none of the writers here don't really wow me in particular. And it's a 100-page book more or less, and it's one of these things where I just don't find myself wanting to jump into this, but we'll see. Then we have War for Earth-3 issue 1, which was vaguely interesting until I realized it was mainly the tying into the Suicide Squad book from the same team who are writing that. And then it got less interesting.
Over a couple of other books as well.
So it got much less interesting once I realized that. Because at first I was like, oh, an Earth-3 crossover storyline. Oh, this sounds cool. War for Earth-3. Yeah, I could be into this. And then I realized that with the TeamWare, I realized that it mostly was crossing over with books that are connected to, stuff that I'm not reading anyway. I was like, okay, I guess this is just outside my radar then, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Issue 2 of this is also solicited.
Yeah, 2 of 2.
I don't want to talk about it
all in the 1 month, I assume. Unless issue 2 solicited advanced.
Yeah, Suicide Squad issue 13, and the Flash 780, as you mentioned, and Titans Academy issue 13, which, that was Suicide Squad and Titans Academy were already kind of tied into this anyway. The Flash is the one that feels kind of roped in that was separate from before.
Titans Academy is a different writer, though, isn't it? This isn't the usual team.
No, it's not, but, a lot of the characters and stuff involved in the solicit for War for Earth-3 are,
fair enough.
From that. So it was I felt like it was tied into that stuff as well. The Flash, though, that's the one that kind of feels like the book's just been kind of taken away from whatever it was doing. Which for me probably means I'll just skip that one to the Flash.
I would assume so. I wonder if it'll be back to the same team afterwards, or if this is... Are they doing a filler month to delay announcing a new team after?
We'll find out in April Solicits, I guess, aren't we? So that's that. Then we have a new Black Label book. This is interesting. So we got Rogues issue 1. This is Joshua Williamson writing, because he hasn't written enough books right now, with Leo Max on art. This is a 4-issue book, so it's your 48-page, four issues. 10 years ago, the Rogues disbanded and went their separate ways, but time hasn't been kind to the former blue-collar supercriminals. Caught in an endless cycle of prison, rehab, dead-end jobs, broken relationships, probation, and endless restitution fees, the Rogues are sick of paying for their crimes. Luckily, Captain Cold has a plan. One last job that will leave them all richer than their wildest dreams and free from their past, if they can survive. This is The Rogues, as you've never seen them before, reimagined by the incredible mastermind storytellers of Leo Max and Joshua Williamson. So, this is actually kind of cool. I love the idea of a Rogues Black Label book.
Yeah, no, it sounds great.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure I can hear Matt getting an erection from here.
I tweeted at him as soon as I saw this, being like, "How many goats did you sacrifice to will this into reality?" I know Williamson was tweeting saying he kind of had this idea for a long time during his Flash run and couldn't find a way to make it fit into his run. So now he's just doing it as a Black Label story, which, sure, why not?
Yeah, I kind of like the cover as well, which is it's just an older, disgruntled Captain Cold. Like,
yeah, it's great.
This is a wonderful idea, focused on a really fun, interesting group of characters. So this gets thumbs up. At least in the, I mean, hopefully it's great. Hopefully it lives up to the potential. But at least on premise, that sounds great. So
Williamson, obviously, we haven't loved everything he's done, but he has a lot of potential, and I still, for the most part, pretty positive on him. Leo Max, we've all enjoyed the art from Basket Full of Heads.
Yep.
Which is, I'm assuming, the only place we've seen them, but still, it's a good sign.
Yeah, Catwoman Lonely City issue 3 is coming out. That's like skipping every other month, which is why it's only on issue 3 in March, unfortunately. But so nice to see it still going though. That's 3 of 4, so there's still one left to be solicited.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazons issue 2. Obviously, that's skipping even more months because that's a 72-page book each issue.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to me that each issue is a different artist entirely, because it's Gene Ha on this issue, who did not do the first one, and that was Jimenez, if I remember him right.
I assume it's going through different eras, so maybe it fits narratively with
I would assume so, yeah.
What it's doing. So that's cool. It's a very nice cover though, I'll say that. Yeah. Really nicely detailed cover. And then there's a few hardcovers and collections that they're spotlighting before we get to the rest of the single issues. DC Pride from last year is getting a hardcover. So that's cool. Or from this year. It'll be last year when it comes out, is what I mean. You know what I mean?
The 2021 Pride.
Yes. Dark Knight's Death Metal softcover, Fear State Saga, which notably is the Batman arc, but also all the Secret Fails one-shots and the Alpha and Omega issues, so that makes a lot of sense.
I will say, bold of them to claim it's the definitive Fear State collection when it doesn't have any of the other tie-ins. Yeah,
you can sort of tell there's going to be an omnibus someday that has like the 3 issues of Nightwing, the Urban Legends relevant stories, whatever else. Like you can tell.
Harley Quinn was there. What else?
Catwoman had 3 issues. Yeah. I mean,
that will be the definitive one.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I could see them doing like a companion thing to go along with this. That's like all those together. This is a sort of book 2. That said, though, I think Catwoman and Nightwing will still fit nicely into their own trades for completion's sake.
I agree. Yeah.
So especially Catwoman, because Catwoman's actually kind of does wrap up a lot of narrative points to that.
I think it's necessary as well.
Nightwing, I'd say you could almost skip them, except there's some character beats with Babs and Dick that you kind of need, given where they are afterwards.
Yeah, I think it's probably less essential, but worthwhile.
Yeah. Sandman is getting a new set of soft covers that are all super big. They're all 500 plus pages, so there's 4 books.
It's basically the deluxe hardcovers, just in paperbacks.
Yeah. Nexus in the Lake Volume 1, which they've also solicited issue 7 along with that, which is neat.
Yeah,
so
they come out on the same day.
Well, so that's cool. Very nice cover for that one. Sort of looking up at the group through the ripples of water. So it's kind of a sort of distorted watery effect. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's great.
Suicide Squad Get Joker, which I'm sad that I never actually made a point of reading issue like 2 or 3 of that, because while it wasn't necessarily great, I did get a lot of laughs out of that first issue.
Well, you can always go back to it.
I can always go back and read the collection, yes, but I just I kind of forgot it existed after a bit, and then I've been reminded and goes, oh yeah, this was the one that had all the on the nose political talk and the weird stuff. Batman Black and White box set, DC League of Super Pets, the Great Mixie Up. That's also a nice title. I kind of like that title actually.
That's good. Yeah.
So that's neat. That's a graphic novel. As is Galaxy, the Prettiest Star.
Yeah, it's one of the young adult ones, isn't it?
Yeah. So then we're on to the rest of the single issues, though. What a cover for Action Comics 1041. It's
that's so good.
Yeah, it's basically the Superman logo made out of like broken chains. Which, and this is the thing, like I don't necessarily know if that means he's broken out of them, and that's what it represents because they're broken, or if it's just like no. the S logo is chained. They're chains now. Like, it could mean either.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I could
So
probably
good.
find out if I read the solicit, but I don't want to spoil anything at this point.
All I know is it says it's conclusion to part 1 of the Warworld saga.
Only part 1, though, so you may not have broken out yet.
Yeah.
But you could have broken out and that could start phase 2. I don't know. Aquaman Green Arrow Deep Target issue 6. So that's not wrapping up. That's 7 issues. I just assumed it was 6. There's 7 issues, that many. Aquaman issue 2 is coming out. We got Arkham City, The Order of the World, issue 6. And as with all those issues, very nice cover on this.
Yeah.
Another good cover featuring chains. We got multiple good chain heavy covers.
Also calling back to the jaw of what else, what happened in the earlier issues of that book.
Yes.
No spoilers in case anyone's not been reading it, but it's a very good callback.
I also like the touch that she's holding the jaw whilst like clenching her own jaw.
Yeah. Please don't do it to me.
Yes. Batgirls issue 4. So that's still going. Batman the Night issue 3. This is the Zarsky Batman book. I'm going to be honest.
This is the book I keep forgetting exists because we haven't had the first issue yet.
I had to scroll down and see who was writing it to remind myself what this was because I'm like, the Night? What's this book?
Every time I get to it, I go, we're getting a Zarsky Batman book? Oh, yeah. We just haven't read the first issue yet.
We got Batman Urban Legends issue 13 with stories by Vita Alea, Mark Russell, Ram V, and Mahali Mashigo. So, cool. Blue and Gold issue 7. We have Catwoman issue 41. So again, we've not gotten to this first Teeny Howard issue yet, but I
did see the preview last week of the art. Looks very nice. It was an uncolored art preview. It was all like grayscale stuff, and it looked gorgeous. And I kind of wish they just published it like that. But
can I just say
those colors will look good as well.
There's 4 covers for this Catwoman issue, and none of them are less than great.
Yeah, they're all kind of great, aren't they?
They're all. I mean, obviously, I have preferences as to which one I like more, but none of them are bad.
None of them are bad.
Yeah, that's very notable. Dark Knights of Steel issue 5. Up next,
which is more great covers.
Oh my!
Dan Mora for the regular cover.
Is that a Stephanie Brown Archer on that variant? Which, by the way, the cover is phenomenal.
I think it might be Stephanie Brown. I'm judging by the color.
It's just it's the purple cloak, but it's an Archer with a purple cloak. But I mean, if you told me it's like an Artemis or something, like,
yeah, but I mean, it's Middleton. It's a gorgeous cover.
I'm just scanning the solicit. It doesn't mention her. Doesn't mention anyone, no. It's not like there's someone else that
yeah, like we can see Dinah in the background of that as well. I would be inclined to maybe say it's a daughter of those two.
Yeah,
perhaps.
that would make some sense. Given that it's the other Archer, well, not the Archer. I mean, Black Canary is not an Archer, but she's connected to Green Arrow. But given it's that family
it's
in the background,
those two in the background, and then her on the front, would be my guess. But
yeah,
I mean, we'll see.
That's probably my favorite cover out of the bunch, though. Even though there's some other good covers.
All of them are great, though, aren't they?
Yes, they're all good covers. DC Horror Presents Soul Plumber issue 6, so that is wrapping up in March. Speaking of horror books, though, DC versus Vampires issue 6. Babs is on the cover for this one.
Yeah.
Looking very, very sinister. Oh, that Nightwing Matina cover for its. I
do like that. I actually prefer the regular one, the Schmidt, just with the vampire in the shadow behind.
Oh, sure,
just the fangs. I think it looks great.
Deathstroke Inc. issue 7 is coming out. We got Future State Gotham issue 11 is still trucking along. Although that's changed teams, right? Because Dennis Culver's writing that now. That used to be Williamson, did it not?
I don't know if it was Williamson.
Or Rosenberg. Maybe it was Rosenberg.
Marvin.
It wasn't Culver. It was definitely someone else.
You could be right.
It was definitely not Culver when it started. And that's might not even be the first issue it changed. I'm just noticing it now, pointing it out that it's someone else.
Yeah, I want to check now.
Just check who issue 1 was.
I'm just going to check. There was an issue this week.
Oh, there you go.
Well, Culver was writing this week.
All right, so it switched a while ago.
Yeah. It was Williamson last issue, though.
Okay, so I was right. It was Williamson. Okay. Right. I just to make sure I'm not going crazy. Green Lantern issue 12 is out. We got Hardware Season 1 issue 6, so that's wrapping up. Harley Quinn issue 13. We got I Am Batman issue 7. we have Justice League 74, which is notable because it is actually the conclusion to Bendis' run on Justice League, which means that and it's a double size issue as well.
I think it's still the same size as normal. It's just there's no backup.
Oh, right, okay. Well, the main story then gets the full page count. So what is... Honestly, I think Justice League as a book could probably just take a break. It doesn't need to have like a new creative team right away. I'm kind of like... I've kind of always been in the opinion that Justice League could just, like, the event book should be Justice League, and, like, you know, it doesn't need to be an ongoing, because I do feel like it often suffers from, like, always having something that you need the team of the Justice League for kind of just makes them feel like the big things are meaningless.
It's why I find, like, my favorite Justice League book all the time is the JLI stuff. Like, you know, can't believe it's not the Justice League from the 80s and early 90s, in that it's essentially a comedy book. It's low key. It's
that's the point though. Book. It's called Justice League, but it's not Justice League. It's a team of B-listers and like misfits. When I say Justice League, I'm talking about the big seven. I'm talking about the main.
I get that, but
cast.
By putting that as your Justice League book, and it's the only one they were publishing.
Yeah.
It puts that as, okay, here's your expectations, and then you can have your event on top of that.
Yeah. That's fine, but I mean, that's Justice League in name only. It's not, you know, the Justice League book.
It's not, but they're going to publish a Justice League book every month, so they might as well do that one.
I mean, they probably won't take a break. I think it could take a few months off just to refresh, but
it could. But issue 75, they're not going to miss that.
Oh yeah, well, it does mean that the new writer will get a special. Like, they'll get like a triple-sized issue to kick things off in, probably.
Yeah,
because it's issue 75. So we'll see if they've got a new creative team for that next month. If they don't do it immediately the following month, maybe if there's an anniversary coming up or something, maybe they'll hold it a little bit to like hit an anniversary or something.
They might just do like a big one shot for the 75, like a fill-in.
Yeah. Or maybe it'll be a big one shot, but the final story will be the new writer to tease their going forward plot.
Could be.
Yeah, they've done that a few times. Justice League Incarnate issue 5. That's still going. So that's cool. Notably, that's Williamson and Dennis Culver co-writing, and Culver's who took over Future State. So that's just interesting. So they do have a working relationship then, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Justice League versus the Legion of Superheroes issue 3 by Bendis, the one that Matt is begrudgingly going to read. So look forward to him working
moaning about every issue of that.
Yeah. Looney Tunes issue 265, Mad Magazine issue 25. Monkey Prince issue 2. That's a Jean Ling Yang book. A nice little touch in the solicit for that. They've actually got the Chinese lettering next, like for their names next to the creator names as well. Yeah. It's a nice touch. Nightwing issue 90, which is going to feature Wally West in a 2-parter. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
a nice cover too.
It's interesting that we're going from a 2-part crossover with Superman. So we've got, like, essentially, here's a John story with Dick, and then here's a Dick and Wally story, kind of back to back.
Yeah, maybe that'll thematically actually make a lot of sense why there's like two things like that back to back. The cover is, you know, Nightwing's running, but then there's like a Flash logo with the Flash in it, sort of like running alongside him. It's a really nice cover.
And I assume as well, having the one issue of the Superman crossover plus these 2 issues gives 3 issues for Redondo to have a little bit of a break.
Oh yeah, the variant's very nice as well. That's the Jamal Campbell one. That's always like really played into the neon of the city and the rain and stuff like that. Whereas, of course, the Redondo covers the more clean colors that he tends to work with. So really nice set of covers. 1-Star Squadron issue 4 is coming out. Refrigerator Full of Heads issue 5. So that's nearing its conclusion. Robin issue 12. With a pretty neat cover.
Yeah,
I would say. So that's cool. And notably, that second cover does make it look like he's teaming up with a bunch of these characters that he's been with on that island, doesn't it? Which we've been kind of predicting.
It does look like that. Admittedly, it's just a variant, so you can't take it for sure. It could be just them spotlighting all the characters at the end of this story, but I wouldn't be surprised.
We get Robin's issue 5, which admittedly I'm a little disappointed with, given...
And I don't understand what that cover is. Why is Damien a monk?
I don't know, they're all alternate versions. Jason's like a race, or sorry, that's Dick's a race car driver. No, it's Jason.
No, it's Jason.
Yeah.
Dick's, I think, doing the Grayson super spy thing by the look of it.
And Steph is basically the exact same, but with a bat logo.
She has a bat logo on both. I don't even know. She's just got a different mask on.
Oh, you're right. There is a bat logo in that one. I just didn't even realize that was a bat logo.
Yeah.
An upside
They got
down
lazy with Steph.
that's kind of weird. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it wasn't in love with issue 1, despite the fact that I loved the premise of the putting all the Robins together.
I don't think any of us read issue 2.
Did issue 2 already come out? Okay, well,
It was this week.
Well, I didn't read issue 2 then. There you go.
Yeah. And it's also a weird thing because issue 3 also came out this week on DC Universe Infinite. Like, you know, they're a month ahead on there.
Yeah. Superman Son of Kal-El issue 9 is next, and this is the other part of the Nightwing and Superman crossover.
Oh, I take it back. Redondo is doing doing this crossover. So he's obviously doing the Nightwing issue and then the Superman issue. So he's only really got a month off.
Yeah. So that's cool. Obviously, we're looking forward to that. But I mean, we're reading both Tom Taylor books anyway, so you know, whatever. Task Force Z issue 6 is coming out, and then we got Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries issue 12, The Human Target issue 6, continuing Tom King's big book, The Joker issue 13, with something's happening with Lady Bane hitchhiking in Texas. Then we got The Swamp Thing issue 11. Neat cover.
Yeah, nice to have it back. I mean, obviously it's not been that long for us right now, but knowing we've got 3 months till the next issue, it will be nice to have it back.
Yeah, obviously it'll be coming after a break. Titans United issue 7, Wonder Woman Evolution issue 5, World of Krypton issue 4, Batman v Bigby, A Wolf in Gotham. Well, that's just
collections.
Yeah, we're out collections for various
I don't know if
things.
there's much of particular interest. I usually have a scan, and the Phantom Stranger Omnibus is probably the most interesting one.
They're reprinting Death and Return of Superman Omnibus.
Aren't they always?
This is the 3rd time they've printed it, I think, but I could be wrong. So
In a Tynan's Talon as a one full big paperback trade.
there's a Phantom Stranger Omnibus, which is
Just said that.
got a cool cover. I wasn't listening to you.
This is what I mean. Why am I here? This is literally the first thing I just said that was of interest.
I think that's the first thing you said of interest 54 minutes into the show. Then
That was of interest in the collections.
you should really think about upping your game a little bit.
This is why I haven't interrupt you, because if I just say something, you don't listen.
Oh, and they're reprinting Jeff Johns' Teen Titans Omnibus as well. So if you were looking for that, if you're wanting the big tomb of the book that is Jeff Johns' Teen Titans Omnibus, which is almost 1,500 pages, and you could kill a man with it, then
Got a horse with that.
yes, you can go fetch that. All right, there you go. That is the solicits for March. Well, mostly by the numbers, but there's a few interesting new things. Like that Rogue's Black Label book is super interesting. Wade being on a new book at DC, an ongoing book no less, is super exciting. So cool.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things that is another news article, but is something that's missing in those solicits. I don't know if you've noticed it, or if you've even seen this news article. There was no Doc Shaner Shazam Mary Marvel book.
Oh,
it's been delayed 6 months.
it's unfortunate, but
basically, Shayna, he tweeted he only found out about this on Tuesday. So these solicits come out Friday. He only found out a few days before that it was delayed. I don't know why they made this decision after announcing the first issue. Shayna basically said he's not behind on it or anything like that. He's still working on it as if it was coming out as normal. So it'll be ready well in advance when they do start putting it out. Apparently they just want it closer to the movie, the next Shazam movie. I don't know if that will line up for the issues or if it'll be more for when the trade comes out.
I see. That this just sounds like slightly shoddy management in the sense that they solicited issue 1 and went, oh wait, we've got an idea. Let's just delay it now. Like, rather than thinking ahead. It just feels like a bit of a dodgy management moment.
Perfectly solid idea to have it around the time of your Shazam movie, right? That makes sense.
I mean, this is fine. Like, it's not controversial. There's nothing really interesting about it. It's just a bit of stupid management. That's all it is.
It's disappointing in that we know about it now, and that we have to wait an extra 6 months. That's the frustrating part.
When you started that story, I was worried you were going to tell me, oh, Shayner's like...
I just wanted you to go through it like that, because that's how it was when we found out about it. That was the cycle of events was, oh, it's not there. And then DC put out a statement saying it's been pulled indefinitely. And then there was an update going, it's 6 months, and then Shayna kind of filled in why. So it was like this sequence of events that, again, could have just been mitigated by DC. Just when they put out that thing of delayed indefinitely, just say it's delayed 6 months in the first place.